Welcome everybody to Cinema Span. We are covering the movies of 2007. Today I'm joined with Andrew Sproge and Jessica Sproge from the Moving to LA podcast and Front Row Film Roast. Say hello to
Hi.
And I also have Brandt Garber with me.
Hello.
Today we will be covering
no introduction.
What podcast
That's it.
just Brandt.
What does he do?
Well, you can listen to Brandt's music on Spotify and any other
Only like
major
3 songs.
Yeah, but just Brandt, BR&DT.
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
Yeah. You can see me walking around
Where?
outside.
Anywhere.
Don't dox yourself
just-
or Elon will
Yeah, I know.
cancel
exactly.
you.
Just
We
go
will
to
ban this podcast.
Yeah.
He was posting live where I was live.
Can I just say, I know side tangent, but I have never heard Elon Musk's voice, and I never will.
Wow.
I will.
It's rough.
I
wish I
know.
did.
I'm sure from context, and like when he was on SNL, I was like, oh my God, I've never, because like I was about to watch a video just to see what it was about, but then I was like, no, I shouldn't.
It's better not to know.
But then I also was like, man, I don't know what he sounds like. And then I'm like, I will make it my goal to never hear his voice. And I haven't yet.
Good for you.
So I don't know if that was a good impression
I
or
think
not.
there will be a day when Elon Musk has taken over like the whole country, and you just hear his voice on the loudspeakers all the
Probably,
time.
yeah,
being like,
of
you have 5
course.
minutes for recess. You know,
Yeah,
that type
I'm
of
sure it'll be thrust upon me
Yes.
non-consensually, just like Elon. Anyway, continue.
beautiful. Yeah, what was Elon Musk doing in 2007?
Who cares? Being in an Iron Man film. Wasn't he an Iron
Yeah.
Man?
Yeah, he's in Iron Man 2.
Oh, Iron
and
Man
the
2.
first
So
Iron
that
Man
was
is
a little
2008.
later. So I don't know, being a little
He was
bitch.
preparing for his role.
He was getting into character.
Yeah.
You know? He was busy being the real life inspiration for Tony Stark, as we all
And getting
know.
all those hair plugs, it takes time.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a good segue. What, Andrew? You said you were working at a video store.
Yeah,
in
I worked at
2007?
fucking Blockbuster in 2007.
R.I.P.
Ooh.
Man.
Yeah, shout out to the failed Netflix show. They
Is it
got
already
wrong,
failed?
apparently. That's right. They
Yeah,
canceled,
it canceled it.
yesterday.
And
God.
can I just, as a side note, we wrote a pilot. We've written one pilot, and it was a video
original
store. It was an original, like video store set in the 90s.
Oh,
And it wasn't like the greatest thing ever. It's not like we were like, yeah, we're going to sell this. We were like, okay, it was our first pilot or whatever. And like everyone, when it said that it was canceled yesterday, like all the comments were like, it should have been set in the 90s. What
Yeah,
are they doing? And I'm like,
absolutely.
oh my God. We were right.
and were you doing a mom and pop store instead of like Blockbuster? Or
I think we were doing like a Blockbuster type
just like
store, like
We just
not
thought, the note we're going to
explicitly
get is, well, we
saying
can't
it. Yeah.
use Blockbuster, so let's
yeah,
cut it.
but it was like
already.
it pretty much.
I just
was.
always thought like the people who are clamoring for like bring back Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
It's just always so interesting because it's like Blockbuster was what killed like what was actually cool, like with the mom and pop video
Right,
shops.
right.
And like those were the shops that had character. And like if your Blockbuster had something good in their selection, it's usually because they bought like a better video store
Right,
out and took
right.
their collection.
Yeah.
You know.
Shout out to Vidiots here in LA. They're putting
Yeah.
stuff together. It's in Eagle Rock. I think they're building like a theater, and it's kind of like a throwback.
Yeah,
exactly like that
reopening
of-
this year, 2023.
There you go. I'm super excited for that.
No, it
But-
looks really beautiful in there. Like I've been following the progress too. Yeah.
Oh, can't wait.
You ever been to Oregon?
The
Where?
state.
Yeah.
Oregon?
Yeah, sure.
You ever been to Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
They have a really cool.
The trail?
It's going
Where are
somewhere.
you going with this?
There's a video. Just stay with me. There's a video store there. It's like the coolest rental. It's called Monster Video, and they have like just all these movies, VHS, and like movie props. Like it's like a museum / rental store.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I was looking for a VCR player, and all of them that I found at like other thrift stores were like $60 plus. And this was my last place, and I was like, "Do you guys have a VCR?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Is it $90?" They're like, "No, it's $15 because we're just trying to get them out there."
We want
I was
people
like-
to remember.
So yeah, go there.
Belongs in a museum.
It sure does.
Yeah, so they're
God.
great. Go to Monster Video if you're ever in Oregon.
If you're ever in Oregon,
Yeah.
let me finish. Portland,
Thank
let
you.
me finish. Monster Video.
Monster Video. Kind of, let me finish. Kind of some of that salami.
Yes, please.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
We are eating cured meats for the video.
Yeah,
it's
they
like
are cured though.
Sopranos
Don't worry. If
Cured.
you're at home.
I don't. What does that mean?
I mean,
I don't know. Who gives a shit? But
Curative
It's not
bacteria?
quite jerky. It's not quite. It's left out just long enough.
no. It's
Exactly,
diseased. It's
Or
terminal.
if it's like The Cure, it's just sad, like me. Retrospective about bad choices.
It lives
you
in an
made.
airport. Anyway.
But your question, yeah, I worked at Blockbuster in 2007, so I remember both the movies we're going to talk about distinctly coming out and going in theaters to see them. But
Oh,
yeah, it
you,
was
so you
very-
saw them both in theaters
yeah,
too?
definitely.
Oh,
And
that's
so I
awesome.
also was a senior in high school, so this was, like comedies. That's the go-to,
Right.
date move, and especially even like knowing. Oh, Walk Hard was like R-rated. Like, oh, good. There's gonna be some boobs in it. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
full frontal male
right? Instead,
nudity.
right? We get just
Yeah, that's what he was
we'll
excited
talk
about.
about it. We'll talk about it. But you literally, yep, full opposite. But yeah,
Oh,
it was
so
great.
good.
And what an adventure working at Blockbuster was. They made us destroy so many DVDs. It was like,
Really?
I felt like Schindler's List. Like, which of these DVDs can I get out? How many of them? Like, oh no, like needlessly. Oh, we've got to get rid
I
of.
can only fit 22 in my tote bag.
please. I could have got more.
22
Blu-ray
copies
trays.
of Mr. Bean's Holiday.
Someone share them with your family. Like, make it matter. It matters. Somebody has to watch this. Rowan Atkinson. No.
I will not let silent comedy die. Physical comedy is important.
But
Yeah.
great times.
I was very little. I think I was born in 96, so I was like
11?
11. Yeah, very.
Very little, you're a baby.
Well, I missed a lot of the movies that came out this year, like when I was putting together the list, which I kind of liked because there was a lot of things I feel like I knew about. I was hearing the conversations, but one reason or another, parents wouldn't let me watch Walk Hard maybe that year.
Oh, so you didn't watch
You
it
know?
until recently?
I saw Walk Hard today.
Louis! Holy shit! Oh my god!
I feel like I had seen a lot of the YouTube moments though, because it's like
That
a
was
really
same.
great movie for like
oh my
pulling
god!
out
Yeah.
just like a bit, like
Good
the
gifts,
smoke
good
and
memes,
reefer.
yeah.
You don't want none of this.
Yeah.
Like all of those
Holy
were
shit!
circulated enough. But I was loving it.
Oh my
and
God.
the music is really good too. Surprisingly,
Oh my God.
John
That's
C.
so
Riley is a
fucking-
literal rock star.
He's
Like
so
he
good.
kills it. He carries exactly. The songs are so great, but his voice is like perfect. This parody, it almost isn't a parody because it's so good.
Right,
like
right.
these songs are like you could just listen to Dewey Cox.
and
as
he
a real
nails
thing.
like 10 different styles too, right? Because he's not just doing Elvis or whatever. Like he's
Right.
also
or Johnny Cash or anything. Yeah.
No, exactly. He's going in and doing, Brian, is it Brian Wilson, right? From
Right,
the
right,
Beach Boys.
right.
Like, yeah. Like all that.
in the disco phase, and it's such a. It might be. Gosh, it's hard to say. It's definitely in the top of parody movies.
Oh, yeah.
up there with
Definitely.
like the Blazing Saddles, all that stuff. It's definitely the best like musical parody.
Well,
Yeah.
in that line of thinking, it's interesting because like I would put like Spinal Tap, like Walk Hard and Pop Star, like all on the same lines, but they're doing something different for like every generation too,
That's a good like trilogy.
right?
Did you see it when it came out?
No. Also, like Lewis, I'd seen like the you don't want none of this. Those drug scenes.
Yeah, that's the best. line of the
Those are
movie.
my favorite parts. Yeah.
Stewie.
What? He's just like going in there to use the. What's going on? Can't you smell it? No, I can't smell. It just leaves. Oh my god, it's so good. And then they heighten it all throughout the movie.
Yep.
Like you don't want this. It's cocaine. You don't want this. It's Viagra. Like you don't want.
Uppers and downers, like
We're doing uppers and downs.
how does Tim Meadows make a meal out of every word?
I don't know.
Like,
He's so good. He's so great. Wait, so Brandt, did you just watch it yesterday too?
Yesterday.
wow.
Wait, did you say yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
First time though.
Yeah, first time.
Okay,
like,
good. And not just like because Andrew watched it yesterday too, but like that it's because he's seen it before. So let's just make that
Well,
specification.
you're a 96 kid too, right?
95.
95.
Ooh, 95.
95.
High five.
High five from across.
High
Just
95.
different grades, I guess.
Yeah, I was like too stupid.
You're too stupid.
My mom was like, "Eef,
Wait, what month were you born in?
September."
Oh, okay. No, you're in the right grade. You're good.
Am I?
Yeah.
All right.
I was
for a
born in
boy.
February, so
Oh.
that's why I was in a grade older. But anyway.
So, did you see this in theaters too, or
No,
Yeah.
of course I did. Let me just hold on. Let me say I was Mormon as fuck till I was 18. So I turned 18 2013. So all of the movies that like all of these rated R movies, all of these like I didn't see, and Andrew has been kind of just slowly showing me them like over the whole of our relationship. So I think the first movie you showed me was Braveheart.
That's really funny.
The Mormons don't want you to see that.
No.
Yeah.
It's not too, it's just, it's like Mormons are okay with war,
Yes, Lord of the
but
Rings.
not sex.
I love that.
Oh yeah, I fucking love Lord of the Rings. Still do.
Well, I think they have like the wizardy thing, like you know how the Catholics don't like Harry Potter because
right.
they're like it's witchcraft, it's the different type of magic. Like I think that's what
Magic is real, and this is the evil kind.
Yeah.
Let's all agree
Mormons
with that.
don't really
statement.
care about that shit. I don't know. Some of them did. Some of my friends were like banned from reading Harry Potter and stuff, but like not
insane.
very many.
banned for the wrong reasons from reading Harry Potter.
Right. I'm like, now it should be banned. but yeah. Anyway, no, I did not. I watched it. I can't remember. It was years ago. It was a while ago when Andrew showed it to me. And in fact, I'd never seen Walk the Line until last year. So I actually watched Walk Hard a few times before I even watched Walk the Line, which made Walk the Line is so funny to me because I'm like, it feels like Walk Hard is just because of how I watch, like the order in which I watch these. Is that Walk Hard is not the parody and Walk the Line
They're like,
is.
what if we did this dramatic?
It's like, let's just take everything seriously. And I'm like, I can't fucking do it.
That's like Sully was like an airplane. Like, let's do it dramatic.
Right.
Airplane's going down.
That should happen more often though, where we like adapt a comedic movie and then just play it totally straight.
Preemptively, and then now let's do it dramatically. We had the funny Billy Madison.
Exactly.
Now what if this kid had to go back to school?
They kind of did that.
This guy.
That is like the Fresh Prince, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I was gonna say they did that with Bel Air, I guess, so it's possible. But I'm like, okay,
Did that come out?
yeah, it's in the second season. I think they're
Oh
filming
my
the
God.
second
You're right,
season.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
What's it on?
don't know.
I think it's
I
on
think
the
it's on
the
Peacock app. Yeah, or the Peacock.
Because I think that was an NBC.
Right, exactly.
That's why I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
But this movie, holy shit! It starts. They are completely in on the like talking of like the kids together. Like, oh, like you're so good at music. Ah, yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm gonna be like the best musician. I've got so much to do with my long life. And I love kind of that improv of like we know they're setting themselves up for something if they're talking this crazy way,
Absolutely.
and then fucking cuts his brother in half with a machete.
Yeah. And even before that, they're just like, there's no way anything bad's going to happen to us today. And then you just see them go through like 10 of the most dangerous things.
Like they're like playing chicken with a tractor, like head on. They're like welding something with hay and shit all over the place. And like, nope, they're completely fine. Like,
They may as well be like choking each other out and being like, all right, let's see. Let's hold their breath longer.
Which is something boys do. Boys do this.
Yes,
Girls don't do this. Boys do that.
I like this. Boys, I like that.
Like boys do such dumb shit. And I'm like, I never did that.
You guys ever chopping your friends off with a machete
I mean,
accidentally?
I've done that, but that's because I'm not like other girls. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, wrong friend, Dad.
Ooh, my best wrong friend.
That's a great ongoing joke of the dad. Just like the whole time is like wrong kid, Dad.
Yeah.
Wrong kid.
Even in the final scene, he's just singing it to himself. Wrong kid, died, wrong kid, wrong
They just like fight each other. Like, oh, you've been practicing. God, it's like such random shit that I'm like, these guys must have been just so high in a like writer's room, just like cackling like about all of these like really like what we don't need this in here, but we're adding it because it's fucking funny.
Right, like when the dad dies, like, oh, maybe I should have learned to forgive you instead of spending my entire life training my mind and my body to win a fight, a machete fight with you. He knew it was going to come down to this moment. Like, we're going to have to fight my son.
Exactly.
With
He sharpens the machetes every morning. He's like, is today going to be the day? Finally going to kill my son.
Oh my God, the movie, bring it full circle. And I love that they play that he's like a man, but he's like 13 years old.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
really go into that. Like, he's just a little
She's
boy.
like, you're such a failure. And like, I'm only 15. I'm doing all right.
You're never gonna be anybody. And he's like still a child. He like owns a home.
Oh yeah, I like the mom's like, how's my little 14-year-old? That's
right over exactly that over explanation. Like that's what's happening. We both agree.
I mean, that happens everywhere in this film, though. Like people being like the Beatles scene where they're like, as the Beatles.
Yes, yes, the full Beatles. Yes, the full of us. We are indeed the Beatles.
But that's absolutely what's happening all through this biopic.
Beatles, stop fighting here in India. Like I'm just saying what's happening.
but truly, like how many of these like movie biopics, are just like you're not even realizing the beats, right? And then they're just throwing it. They're playing it exactly the same. It's just
right, especially
all that
like
extra leaning in.
Yeah. Well, and another one that because we were kind of talking about Weird Al before, but his biopic is like also like just a perfect example of a fucking like really good parody, and it's perfect that he's doing it like himself because then he really can just do whatever the fuck he wants. But it's like I love nothing more than just really fucking stupid parodies like this. But like really good fucking music in Walk Hard. And I mean, you knew that he sang because he was in Chicago. I tried to show Andrew Chicago, and he did not stay up very long.
I prefer Oregon.
Who's the director on Chicago? Isn't it the guy who did Les Mis and Cats too?
Probably. I don't know.
You love Chicago so much.
I don't love Chicago so much. I tried to watch it and show you it. It's good. I mean, but he sings Mr. Cellophane. He does a great job.
I watched that clip on YouTube. The song.
All right, that's all you need.
But he's no doubt.
Just like Walk Hard. We'd only seen the clips. That's all we needed.
You don't want this.
He's so
kind of do.
He's just so multifaceted. Like John C. Reilly is just so funny and so good at acting dramatically and singing and playing music. It's like I don't understand him, but he's great. Like he's just perfect. Like I don't know.
No, he really is perfectly cast too.
Yeah,
because it's hard to tell. Is he playing it straight or is he playing it like fully leaning in at certain moments? At least,
like him, the actor. What's going on in his mind?
Right. I mean, I just love I just love this whole film. He picks up the guitar for the first time and immediately knows how to play it, and then the guy's like, "Not bad for your first time." He's got a full
ADR, voice. Yeah, definitely some like blues players singing over him, and like wow, like this kid. When he meets Kristen Wiig, and so like same thing. She's like, they're both like teenagers, and she's like, "What about my dreams?" And he's like, "I told you, I can't build you a house of candy. It'll collapse. It'll fall. It'll kill you." And it's like they take it so seriously. It's like they really lean in. Like the comedy isn't the joke itself; it's how emphatically your character believes that this thing is true. I'm like, yeah, so good. That's her dream. She wants a candy house.
I just feel like they don't write scripts this absurd anymore for comedies, which is interesting because like I think comedies have made this huge shift to dialogue heavy, improv heavy, like setups in the post like Apatow world, if you will.
Exactly.
All the spectacle is taken out of these moments, but like then they're still not heightening the dialogue as much as they could. Like this is very simple. Anyone could do that type of scene, right?
Right. And just like taking it to the next level is the reason it's so funny. Yeah, like the getting an insanely good actor to say those lines. Like, okay, that's why it's funny. Oh God, when they're getting their recording deal, and there's John Michael Higgins, if you know him, he's just so fantastic. Like these like big, bouncy characters. Like, all right, I'm not going to let him record one more song. And these like three rabbis. Right. You got like Harold Ramis. You've got I can't remember who the other two were, but he's like, you have like. I've lost my faith in Judaism today. Like after this recording session.
But that's the whole thing. Is it's like it starts with. Dewey's got to go up on the club, right?
Oh my God! How did we skip that part?
No, you're good. But the rabbis are in the back, and they're like, you better be good for those Jews because they run the music industry.
Don't forget.
You cannot say that, dude. It is insane.
God, they were preemptively Kanye before they had no idea. Like 12 years earlier.
I was like, whoa.
You're so right. Yeah, because he has to play like an all black club and sings
he's saying Negro like out loud, like as he's singing. Love
you gotta love the Negro Man is the name of the song, right?
It's killer to me too that every rock and roll scene that he plays, like when he plays in the high school and then when he plays in the club, like he's playing the mildest like rock and roll you've ever heard.
Losing their people are like fucking fine. Like I can't control myself. Women like ripping up because I just saw the Baz Luhrmann Elvis,
yes,
and it's like the same thing. Like, did they steal from Walk Hard? Like they did such a good job of that little part with the Elvis stuff of like women losing their minds at the front row, and men were like, this is outrageous.
The Beatles music.
What? Arrest him! How dare you?
I definitely had that question. Like, did Baz Luhrmann see this or not?
Right.
Because like there's also with the hound dog, they're cutting back to like a country woman in like a barn that's very reminiscent of when Dewey walks in on the two folks playing playing the blues, and they're like, this is the blues, Dewey. Like it like even shot composure seems the same.
Elvis,
and you're like,
what?
Yeah, and like he's looking through the wall or whatever there, but you're just like,
picks up a guitar and or something, right? It's like,
but like, was he like also trying to like curb that in a way and use that imagery, or like was he blissfully unaware and that's how well they hit this?
Right. Or is it just like this mythos now, right? That's like out there of like, this is how the musical documentaries go every single time. There's going to be, because Walk Hard did it so well. Now there's always going to be that scene of discovery. I don't know. It's so good. I liked the Baz Luhrmann Elvis too.
It was really good. Very long, but very entertaining, and just like, I mean, it's hard to make a music biopic, right?
The Walk Hard shows that they can do it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny.
But like, do you have to lean on the conventions or not? Like, because I feel like Bohemian Rhapsody is like such a... I know you're a big Queen fan here, but like it's
I'm a very Singer fan. I'm a huge fan.
There we go.
Be careful, Lewis. I have to go home with him after.
I can't talk enough about that guy.
But really what I think about is the film that was originally promised with Sacha Baron Cohen. That was less focused on the band. That was more focused on Freddie. Like I just think about like what it could have been.
Oh, I wish.
Versus what it was, and it's so funny that the watered down version is like what
it literally
huge.
is like
the biggest film of all time. Like
Have you seen Love and Mercy?
I have not seen Love and Mercy.
That one's fucking sweet.
What's
It's
that?
about the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, and it cuts back between like the peak of their career when he just right before he writes Pet Sounds, and then it cuts. It's funny because in the past, Brian Wilson in this movie looks like Paul Dano, but then it cuts to the future where he grows up to look like John Cusack. Old Brian Wilson is John Cusack, and young Brian Wilson is Paul Dano. But they both do really like great, and it's really cool. They don't really. I mean, I'm sure there are some musical biopic tropes in there, but it's not really following that. You know, it doesn't start with Brian Wilson like as a baby playing the piano and the mom's like, come here, look at him. Like, oh my God. That's how the Elton John one started, and I kind of rolled my eyes. Like, he's just our little genius. He's going to be
whatever.
You know. Yeah. Anyway, but Love and Mercy is sweet.
No, and he doesn't. Well, maybe he does go to rehab. Like, right? Doesn't got to go to rehab at some point?
They cut to the future, and he's already kind of been through that, and he has
that's
like
so much better
guy.
Yeah.
Because now we're just jumping all over Dewey, but that's fine. Like the scene, the rehab scene is just insane. Just I'm too cold. I need more blankets.
He needs more blankets and less blankets. And then the doctor goes, I'm afraid you're right. Like no, like prognosis or anything.
And then at the end, like when his like ex-wife comes back, you know, he's like, it took a lot of blankets.
Blankets to like get me through this. He needs more blankets. He's freezing. He needs less blankets.
I had a question, because like, not to spoil it, I don't know if I'm sure people would know that we're also going to talk about Blades of Glory.
Yeah.
Okay. Was the connecting factor Jenna Fisher?
Okay,
I noticed that.
I noticed.
I was like,
guys, I'm gonna be totally honest here. It was not originally, but it is. Like, I realized she's been in 3 films in 2007.
I mean, yeah, she was her.
I mean, yeah,
she
rocketed to just like everyone wanted her after her office.
But like, what was surprising to me is like her movie career is not very extensive.
No.
So it's got this, Blades of Glory, and then there's a movie Bob Odenkirk directed, actually.
Yes, I think I saw it and I did not like it, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
I love you, Bob Odenkirk. I know you're listening to this.
Of course he is.
But yeah, I did not like it. It was very like, it was one of those movies that just like they talked over each other a ton. And I'm like, I know you're trying to do like a more realistic kind of thing, but I'm like, but also people don't talk over each other that fucking much. Like people do stop and go, oh, sorry. What were you saying? Like, and so anyway, I just hate that shit. But anyway, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but all of his friends were obnoxious improvisers, I'm sure, right? Like,
yeah. Flo from Progressive was in it.
Oh,
Stephanie, whatever. I don't remember.
But I think the big thing, they just both came out in 2007.
Oh yeah,
really
yeah.
That many
No,
huge
for sure. I
comedies.
just was like, it is funny because like, yeah, she hasn't done like tons of movies. It's mostly TV. So it was like, is that why?
but she's pretty good in both of these.
She's so good. That's why it's
especially
silly.
for being handed like what can be some of the weakest like parts written for women sometimes, which are just like, oh, be the love interest, and then like, well, maybe like make a like one or two good scenarios around you, but like she's genuinely pushing the comedy and like
she's so good, and like, and she's gorgeous, and like I read her book. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, the one where she's like
talking about like talks about her acting career and like basically goes into detail of like her struggle and anyway, I think she's only written one book as far as I know. So just look up Jenna Fisher book and you will find it. Yeah. But she talked about Walk Hard, and she said that she had to be on a rigorous like exercise and diet program. Like she was not like, she was pretty skinny to begin with, and they like made her get even more thin for this role. And she said one night while they were filming, she just like was desperate for a fucking burger. She was like, I just really need to eat something that's not just fucking like plain chicken or whatever. And so she and Chris Parnell like snuck out and like went and got a burger. And she said the next day she was like so bloated that these like pants that they had made for her, like custom made for her, would not fit. Oh no. And like the person that made it for her was like just so sad. And she's like, I'm so sorry I had a burger. And they're like, how dare you?
You know how long this
like,
took?
it's just such a bizarre, like, so she had to use a different pair of pants anyway. But I'm like, this is crazy.
That really brought the movie down. I noticed that.
This is crazy to me. Like, she looked great before. Yeah. Like, this is so unnecessary.
And she looks great in this film too.
Right. But it's like unnecessary. So you don't need that.
But I think it's still that era. Like,
yeah, of course.
It's probably still that era now to an extent too. But,
still, yeah.
Like, unless you're in a superhero movie, I don't think it's like, quote unquote
required. Men I feel
but
like definitely have gotten worse. While maybe women have gotten a little lax, not as much, but like a little bit more
somewhere, and it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, because like men are like, fuck, I gotta be so fucking ripped, and you're like, no, you don't, but it's okay. We got CGI for that.
Not only are they ripped, they usually do a week of, or like 5 days of dehydration, no water,
right, to make them look more muscle.
Yeah, for 1 or 2 days shooting.
But it's very silly. Anyway, let's talk about eating disorders. But that was just, I just was curious because like she's great.
Part of this, Dewey. It's an eating disorder. Binging and purging.
We're throwing up. What? Why? Because you can fill yourself up and food tastes good, but there's no calories.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I just really mostly, I mean, because we were going to talk about her anyway. I mean, it was eventually we were going to say, oh, she's in both films.
Great terrible story.
But like, it's like such an interesting thing, and that she felt bad. I'm like, don't feel fucking bad for eating a burger. This is crazy that they made you do that anyway.
Yeah. We were just talking about Dewey's band, which I feel like is so well put together too, because I mean, even in like a comedy film, like sometimes your second tier like players aren't this strong. But but like, you know, you got Besser in there.
Yep.
His best role.
Yeah. I mean,
Besser
what
role?
else is Besser in?
That's right, exactly.
He's mostly in TV.
Mostly TV, right?
Yeah.
But
I
hey,
mean,
thank God he was in this.
that's right.
Did it
He's
right.
usually just really good in like a 1 or 2 episode role.
Yeah.
Not that that's what he wants to be.
Yeah. I don't think it is, but that is what he mostly does.
But he is great in this. Yeah, they juxtapose each other well. They kind of they have like archetypes behind them, and then there's good jokes.
Exactly. And Chris Parnell always turns out just an
course.
insane performance.
My
you know?
favorite, or one of my favorite parts is they're doing like a montage of like, oh, now Dewey's like sleeping with all
Yep.
these women, and then like the way that he shows that he's like helps them pick up a bag. He's like, oh, let me get this for you, and they're like, thanks, Dewey, and then it cuts to them, you know, having sex, and then like, oh, thanks, Dewey. Then the third one is like Chris Parnell, and like he's like, here, let me get that for you. He's like, oh, thanks, Dewey, and then like they wake him in bed. Like, he's just fucking everyone.
And they bring it up later. He's like, you fucked my wife. Like the other guy, he's like, you fucked me, and that really messed me up.
Like, you sleep with all of our women.
Which, I mean, speaking of boobs and nakedness, because we were talking about that earlier, a lot of good boobs in this.
A lot of great boobs.
Only I can say that.
Who was John C. Reilly's butt double?
Well, he had an ab double, right?
No,
He
did
had-
they
he
show
had
his
a body
butt
double.
when she
No,
like
the abs
flaps
were
his-
real. His
Oh, the
abs.
abs were real. That's what the abs was fake.
Or maybe it was his butt. I just assume it was a double.
Oh, I'm sure it was. But at the same time, like, John C. Reilly seems like he doesn't give a fuck.
I'm like Googling.
I think I would believe that it was his ass, but the ab scene is absolutely like one of
course.
those.
Yeah, it's like,
Shoot the abs and then watch him taking the shirt off.
That's
his
the
hair.
joke.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the fun of it.
yeah.
It's like it would be
Yeah.
ruined if he actually was fit.
Because, yeah, no one's doing what they're doing to Jenna Fisher in this movie. They're not making him get ripped and shit. Nope. Just Jenna Fisher for no reason.
It's only funny when it's like Mac from It's Always Sunny, where it's just like, I'm going to see how awful I can make my body. I'm going to get so fat. And then the next season, I'm going to get like
180.
fucking
unabsurdly
And now he's
ripped,
just, like, thin.
superhero.
And nobody
Marvel.
cares
No.
once he's ripped.
like, they're over it. Yep. Doesn't make his character anymore.
What'd you find out?
I
What's the
can't
verdict?
confirm. I don't know.
Okay.
I just Googled, is that John C. Reilly's butt
Let me ask Siri.
in the movie?
It's one of those things. If any of us meet him, this will be the question we get to
Yeah.
ask.
Hey Siri. In Walk Hard, did John C. Reilly use a butt double? She didn't say it, but she says, I don't have an answer
Oh,
for that.
that was a better. You did a better way to.
I think it's
phrase
because you
that
said
question
butt.
better.
Thank
It's because you said butt.
Yeah.
You know, Siri's like, I don't answer questions with butt in it anymore.
Whatever.
I learned 5 years ago.
You are supposed to do what I say, Siri. Anyway.
When he when he's going to like his first big concert and they're like, okay, you're gonna go on after Elvis, and then they come and get him outside and they're like, hey Dewey, Elvis is almost done with his final encore. Like, you're on next.
No, and before that, they got Frankie Muniz as Buddy Holly.
Thanks, Buddy Holly. No, that's not true. I wouldn't be Buddy Holly. Just keep saying it. Just the same thing, like the fun improv of like, I'm just gonna say the information. That's the joke because that's funny. That yep, that's what I am. That's who I am right now. It's me, Buddy Holly. That's right. But what a setup! Like his final encore. So he's done multiple, and these be like, yeah. And then like, all right, one more act, one more. Got one more show.
It does remind me the Suits, as they call them, the music producers, they call him Laheim. They call him Mazel Tov. They're like Mr. Laheim.
Laheim, Mr. Laheim, Mr. Mazel.
It's just it's the on the noseness that it's so bad it loops back around to being
Right,
great.
because
right?
we're making fun of the fact that people would think that this is good or funny. Oh, what happened?
I think after that it's like pretty much the first drug scene. Like the first.
Right, you walks in. I gotta calm down.
I do love that bit actually at the very front of the movie where he's standing against the wall. And they're like, he needs to think about his whole life.
What he plays.
Like it does this every time.
And then at the end, when they're like, okay, and now Dewey's gonna sing a song that summarizes his entire life in this. And
Yeah,
it's like,
and Jonah Hill showing up as his dead brother, being like, all you need to do is write one masterpiece that sums up your life and mine.
this is what I would have looked like. I can't jerk off. You know how hard it is? You're gonna ghost hands? Nothing.
I love how he aged though, like as a ghost.
like in
he
front of
doesn't-
him.
Yeah, like, he doesn't stay a kid ghost like you would expect.
Right.
He still ages.
And there is some internal logic with like he's a force ghost, and then at the end of the movie, like his parents are force ghosts
Yeah.
too. Next to him. Like I'll just be like, "We loved your concert. It's great."
Good Star Wars riff.
Like, more movies should just have space ghosts in them.
They really should, you know, and then they should go back in after decades and change it to the younger actors,
exactly.
right?
No, they should just
What
put
we
Hayden
all want.
Christensen in.
Every time
This is bullshit.
he's wearing the robes too.
I do want to say because like one of my favorite songs in the movie is "Let's Duet" because it's like
Yes.
it's so cleverly written and like it's definitely not Jenna. I think she admits that in her book that she's not the one singing,
God.
but like it's so good. It's very catchy and it's like obviously like double meaning in the words and I love that song. It is so fucking good.
No, genuinely so good. Like I wrote it down. There's a line about
Lewis, hurry.
you can
hurry.
always come in my back door.
Yeah, exactly,
You had it.
exactly. It's like just so on the nose, but just so cleverly written that it's like it could be if you didn't understand these references, it could be just a love song.
But it's over a montage of them like eating ice cream cones and
She's like gagging herself.
Like, crazy, like on horses and just like humping it as hard as they can.
So good.
Whittling or something like that, like making wood together. When they get married and then Kristen Wiig finds them and she's like, "You're already married," and he's like,
He just doesn't understand.
"I did the right thing." Like he's like, "You guys are mad at me. I did the right thing. We're married. We are married." Like as if that was the problem. Like you're sleeping around. You're cheating on me.
I love how they just keep adding kids every time you cut back to like how is he there enough like long enough to like impregnate her, like you know what I mean,
Right. And then he's like 21 with 6 kids.
She's like, "Where are you coming back?"
19 years old.
I do love the bit when like he finally meets his kids at the
Yeah.
end and they're just like they're shoveling through them all and
Yeah, like playing catch.
Strays kids. He's like, that can't be mine, right? Like,
All different ages. Like twins.
they do reveal that Tim Meadows' character probably has one of those
Yeah,
kids.
I
Because at the
mean-
end there's like they do the montage of the whole film and one of them is like Jenna Fisher's character delivering a baby. And like Tim Meadows is the doctor, and he like hands the black baby to Tim, and then he's like, and he like kisses it.
I did not remember that. That's definitely got to be it then, right? That's
so
100.
funny. That would make sense.
Yeah, pretty damn good. I also love that he's. Do you remember the Charlie Manson line? Like
No,
in the 70s?
No,
They're like at a party, and they're like, I can't find Dewey anywhere, and they're like, oh, I think he's talking to some guy, Charlie Manson, and then they all say, terrible music, cool guy though.
That's so funny. I couldn't remember that.
All these like little cultural references,
It's-
like
yeah.
his Bob Dylan time, like
His
this,
Bob
like
Dylan
instead of
is
like
so good.
anti-war, he's like pro like little people,
Right,
like
saying nothing the whole time he's up there, like
a mouse with a whisker is making a cake. It's the birthday, America, never forget. Like just like this doesn't make any sense.
Tim Meadows
This
is like
art.
crying, like off the side.
It's so deep.
Good shit.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the movie. I mean, I will
watch
say
it.
we briefly touched on the Beatles stuff, but like the casting there is so good.
It is. It is.
It's an all-star group.
It really how do you pull out this many A-listers in a film like nowadays?
I think it
you
was
know?
because they're like, you get to play John Lennon.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
but also,
yeah, I'll
like
do it.
once again, John C. Reilly has his like finger in so many fingers and so many pies, like with his talent that he just must know so many fucking people, and he probably was just like, hey, I know this person from randomly doing this thing with them or whatever. And like, are you gonna say no to John C. Reilly? No.
Yeah, and like Judd Apatow produced this, and like it's
That
definitely
too.
one of the better like Apatow produced joints.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I feel like he has a better track record as a producer than a director.
I agree.
I like maybe half of like the stuff he's directed.
I agree.
Pretty well, but
Yeah. Fuck, I was gonna say, can I swear?
Oh fuck.
Have I been swearing? I think I can.
Yeah, we're talking about walk hard, but
Yeah.
don't swear. These kids, this is going to elementary school kids that are learning
I just wanna make
2007
sure.
movies
I just want to
history.
make sure. Fuck. I was gonna say something about. Okay, if anyone has any. Oh no! I was just gonna give an anecdote. So right before the pandemic hit, we went to the theater at the Ace Hotel downtown, and it was Tim and Eric show.
Oh, cool.
They were doing like a tour of like a live show, and it was fucking hilarious, of course. And they only did it for this show because it was in LA and he was available, but they brought John C. Reilly to be Dr. Steve Brule, and it was so fucking funny, and no one expected it because like they hadn't done it in any other spot. I think
Right.
LA was like their last spot probably. And it was just such a treat, and like he was so fucking funny, like and like to see him in person was also cool. Like I don't know, I'm like this.
But you were just saying, like, he dips his hand. Like, he
He
literally
does
knows
so
all
many
these people in
different
comedy, and he's a
things.
huge comedian.
And
then
like he's
this
also
amazing
so
dramatic
down
actor.
to like
Yeah.
come and just like do
Right, and
shit.
he's
a huge
and,
celebrity.
and his,
but also-
his band too, right? Like he's got those skills. He likes doing that stuff.
Yeah.
He performs at Largo like every
performs
month.
at Largo
Yeah.
all the time. Like it's just like I don't know. I love him. Anyway, I've said it a million times.
No.
I'll say it a million more.
John C. Reilly is incredible. Like his roles in the Paul Thomas Anderson movies,
Yeah.
are really
Magnolia.
awesome.
Others.
Even he's in Licorice.
Keep going.
He's in Licorice Pizza. Like for 1 second, they're at the
Oh.
teen fair, and so they're
Oh,
they're
that's
all-
right. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but he's playing Frankenstein, but the actor that was the original
Right,
Yeah, that's
monster.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he's like setting up his booth, and the kids are like bothering him. And he's just like trying to like keep him away. He's like, I'm not open yet. Like, come on back later.
Oh, I
it's
forgot
a
about
blink and
that.
you miss it one, but
Yeah.
yeah,
What a good one day for him.
right.
I know. Probably got paid a good amount too.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried the there's Eric Wareheim has his own like wine line. Is that what you say?
Wine line.
La Jolla?
La Jolla.
I feel like I've heard of it.
I don't know.
La Jolla is like an area down by San Diego.
Okay,
what-
then it
that's what I've
probably
heard of.
is that. I just
The La
have
Jolla
never heard
Playhouse
it.
is a really popular pre-Broadway spot.
Hey, Lewis, I don't know.
Yep.
I didn't know that. No, but anyway, he has great wines, but there's one that's like a sweet berry wine, and it has a picture of Dr. Steve Brule on it. And I've had it, and
out his mouth,
it's
yeah.
good. So just a plug.
That's a label worth keeping, like for sure.
It's so good. So anyway, for Christmas, everyone, get
Send it to Jessica.
La Jolla. Yeah,
Jolla.
just to me, not to your love.
L'Chaim.
Just to me.
Yeah. These are my brother's live.
I will never say it right.
I know we're gonna move on to Blazes of Glory, but one other joke that I love is they're like he's at his house and he's like lost his mind and all of his friends are like worried about him. And he goes up and this guy's like, Dewey, what happened to you? And he's like, I don't know what happened to me, but I know what happened to you. Patrick Duffy took a beating. And then he punches him in the face and then like attacks him. And then like I just love that concept. But I know what happened to you. Patrick Duffy took a beating.
Oh my
Just like preemptively set yourself up. Oh god, it's such a good
Good
moment.
Good
Oh,
shit.
he's
That's the
just
dream.
like erratic, insane.
I will say, we forgot to mention the sink tearing.
He's like constantly tearing sinks off the wall. His wife's like, "Don't you tear that sink off the wall, or I will leave you."
There's one at the end. He pulls like 5 out in a
there's
row.
like, why are there that many sinks? There are
And how
not
is he
that
doing
many
that?
sinks in a bathroom. How? It's only so they can just rip them. That'd be such a fun moment as an actor to be like, okay, like we said, it's gonna take us a long time to reset this. So
Oh, yeah.
really got to nail this.
You got to smash them.
like falling off. As if he's just like, oh, when he gets on PCP, he like flips a cop car like the Hulk. Like literally
the
has
Hulk car.
superhuman strength.
Spider monkey climbs up a building.
They like go, this crazy go from like hyper realism to like, oh no, now we're like in a superhero movie for a moment. And it works. You don't go like, well,
I do love that scene in jail when he's like, jail has taught me to like care about the people here and want to do better for them, but I do not want to be with them.
I was scared. Great movie.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Maybe take a little short break.
Sure.
And,
Amen.
sounds good.
Amen. That's what every podcast says. Amen.
Amen. And we are back.
What?
We are back with Blades of Glory.
Yeah.
Something I noticed right away were the title cards for this film. DreamWorks, which, I mean, maybe not super surprising, but also like in front of a comedy like this, you're like,
well, and you
Especially
think of animation
Back then,
Right.
too,
for the most
especially.
part.
You're
Yeah.
like, oh, Shrek.
yeah, but DreamWorks was like, Kathleen Kennedy and Steven Spielberg and the Quibi guy, I can't think of his name.
Oh God.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Oh, Jeffrey Katzenberg, who,
Yeah.
Shrek. Anyways, they started DreamWorks all together. But I mean, this was totally that era where you could a comedy with Will Ferrell would make a lot of money. So like,
of
why not
course.
bankroll it, right? The surprising thing was the second title card. MTV movie productions. Like,
How did that get involved? How did this production company?
they were at the height of their power. I mean,
This
for
was
sure. Like, right?
pre-ridiculousness, so
Oh, you're
they
right. They
hadn't
were not at
quite
the height.
found their footing yet. You know,
Yeah. All 24-hour.
24-hour marathon.
As we all know, they solved the issue of TV programming with one
Yes.
show.
Yes, that my parents will
ridiculous
watch.
channel.
My parents watch constantly. They do not. It's very silly. Anyway,
Okay, so you guys asked me in the last part whether Jenna Fisher was the link here, and my original thought was like, okay, this is right before Step Brothers. You've got Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly just in their own vehicle.
so that was the connecting.
That was like
factor.
the loose connection. And then I start Blades of Glory, and do you know what the opening song is in
It's
this?
the Andre Bocelli. Is that?
Yeah, it's the song that they sing that they perform at the end of Step
Time
Brothers.
to
The
say goodbye. Yeah, exactly. Time to say goodbye.
yeah.
bolts and holes.
That's the real connection.
That is the connection. No, but it blew my mind like hearing it because I did have that moment of like I need to look this up to know like
that song.
when does
That's
Step
that
Brothers
song.
come out?
Yeah.
Was this before or after? Is this a nod or did they like? Were they watching this movie while they were making Step Brothers
oh,
and
yeah,
they're
that's
like,
a good
that
song.
shit's
That'll be
hilarious?
worth it.
Maybe.
That's
Will
a
Ferrell
good.
just sings it a lot, and then like
Yeah, maybe.
someone heard him like, oh, let's put it in Blades of Glory, and then same thing happened later.
Fair enough. Like he's just like a big opera fan. And like they came to him, they're like, we need like something, man, for this. And he's like, here's like 5.
Do Time to Say Goodbye. You could do Ave Maria. What else?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all the opera songs.
I
The
think,
only opera
and
songs.
Amore, right?
Those are the three.
Is that opera?
Pretty sure. When the moon
I think that's just how Italians sing.
What you have done to that Amore has made me lose my faith in Judaism.
Oh God.
There's nothing I want more to do than to restore your faith in Judaism. So, anyways, we're done with Walk Hard.
Don't you dare
I'll
bring
read
it
up.
up again.
Oh God. Yeah. So, but yeah, this starts again with a kid, right? Child version of one of our stars.
Is this a parody? How would you describe this
I
movie?
don't think so.
Man,
Like not of a specific. It's a parody of like sports or not. I don't know. Of like
sports movies.
sports movies of
Because it's like
that-
definitely genre.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
but
it's a
yeah.
but what are
comedic
they
sports movie,
bouncing
just
off
like
of?
The Longest Yard, Waterboy, I guess. I'm only thinking
But
of
there's
Adam
no
Sandler
ice
movies.
skating movies.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Besides Ice Princess, Disney Channel original movie.
It reminds me of
Okay. And
This
then
is why we have you on.
and then I, Tonya afterward.
Oh, I,
That's
Tonya.
all I know.
I, Tonya is incredible.
But that was way after. That was like 10 years after.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Zoolander, where it's like they pick something that is a very popular thing, but they act like it's like the most rock star fucking coolest shit. Like it's all about ice skating in this world. That's the coolest thing.
And you nailed it too, because like the conceit of like Zoolander is like male models are funny, and like here it's like male ice skaters are funny.
Yeah,
right?
like anything that's
it's rooted in like
feminized,
that homophobia. The thing is, though, both of those movies don't feel homophobic.
Right.
Like nothing that Will Ferrell is doing here feels like hate.
You know what I think it is?
He's opposite. He's like hyper-sexualized, aggressive men that fuck women or they're skating. Like,
I think there was like a time where they were like, what's the fucking most ridiculous thing like that we can make into an actual serious. So like they have dodgeball, they have balls of fury. Like, maybe that was just part of it. Like of like, ice skating, like, we can make this as like take this seriously, but it's like no one except for ice skaters take ice skating seriously, just like dodgeball and balls of fury and that sort of thing. So I'm wondering if that was kind of why they did it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably right. I mean, I don't think Ferrell's been in any of those sports.
I mean, there was Talladega Nights right before this.
Talladega Nights. That's the other thing.
Semi-pro was right after. He kind of was riding. He was like kind of riding that wave.
That's true. That's true. And like, so I don't know. Maybe that was just like a trend because like obviously every movie. Like there are like weird years where it's like we have like 5 Snow White movies and like this year we have like 5 Pinocchio movies. It's like why? But it's like I don't know. That must have been what it is like, oh, we can just make it a funny, like we can make any sports movie funny. That's what's in now. That's what people like.
Especially if it's not like baseball or football or basketball. Like make it a little,
the ones people take
a little
seriously,
more niche and then act like it's not. Like,
and with semi-pro, it's like basketball, but not pro, like semi-pro.
It's semi-pro.
Hey, they even did with The Longest Yard, so they did do it with football.
It's true.
I mean, obviously that's a remake, but
did it with Shaolin soccer.
Shaolin.
not
those
kicking
monks
and screaming.
Not kicking and screaming. No.
The big hits.
Wait, maybe they were riding the Air Buddy phase.
Maybe.
And they still are to this day.
God, I hope so.
I mean, we got what? So we got Will Ferrell and John. Is it John Hader?
Heater, yeah.
Heater.
I should have looked this up. I'm just
wow, Lewis.
Now this is
you're
on
editing.
cinema.
You can cut this
no,
off.
it's fine.
It was
Lewis. You corrected all of us. Wow.
It was almost Ben Stiller who was going to be Will Ferrell's part.
Wait.
Yeah.
But really? It's not even opposite Will Ferrell.
And he's a producer on this movie. But he had to go do. I don't know if it was Night at the Museum
Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder's 08.
It might have been Tropic Thunder.
Probably
Thank
Tropic
God he
Thunder.
did then,
Because they
Tropic
probably
Thunder is
had to
so
go
good.
on location for that.
then-
That shoot must have been insane.
That probably
like,
would have taken
actually
a long
like
time.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they're like, why do we have to have so many helicopters?
Right. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But John Heater was definitely.
I saw a random podcast clip where John Heater said that, and he's like, "Oh, I was so excited," and they're like, "It's not Ben Stiller." He's like, "Fuck," but then like, "It's Will Ferrell," and he was like, "Yeah, okay."
Oh, interesting. Who? Because like, let's talk about John Heater for just a sec, because this hits home a little more for me, because obviously he rose to fame with Napoleon Dynamite.
Yep.
And
which everyone saw.
that?
But it started. Brandt, get out of here. Which started as like just like an independent film, and then it just kind of blew up over time. And I think.
Yeah, but it was shot in like Salt Lake.
But it was shot in Idaho, in Preston, Idaho.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Everyone in Utah used to talk about that.
But that's the thing, is that like it was. Close proximity. I'm sure it showed at Sundance. Maybe that also helped. And then also, like, John Heater is a Mormon as well.
Yes.
And I say
He still is.
Because, like, even though he, like, it doesn't seem like he is still practicing. I think he's probably more Jack Mormon than anything.
He's a California Mormon.
Yeah, which means that, for the listeners, Jack Mormon means that they still believe in everything, but they don't follow all the rules. Cool. Because I do remember Blades of Glory being like shocking, because I was like, he swears.
Yeah.
But But yeah, he skyrocketed because of Napoleon Dynamite, but it was a very big thing in Utah because he was Mormon. I think John Hess, the director of Napoleon Dynamite, was also Mormon. He directed the Murder Amongst the
Jared
Mormons. Yeah, I said that, didn't I?
You said John. But sorry,
Shit. Jared. You know who I
All the
am.
J's. Just call him Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus.
JS.
All men are Jesus.
Voldemort. It's an anagram.
But yeah, Jared Hess. Anyway, so I feel like just because it was close proximity and then also knowing like, oh, these guys are Mormon, it was like, that's why it was a big deal. And then, yeah, I think Blades of Glory kind of made everyone go, oh,
Yeah,
maybe he's not as good as we thought. Because he says, oh my God, or ass or whatever.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, he really only has like 2 or 3 roles we could name, like that are like huge, like budget.
Yeah,
films.
because he was in Just Like Heaven, which is a really good
I
film.
loved him in that.
Fucking love
Yeah, I
Just
like that
Like
movie a lot.
And I think that was probably in between Napoleon Dynamite
What
and
is
Blades
that?
of
What-
Glory.
I do not know what that is.
It's a rom-com with Reese Witherspoon and Mark Ruffalo. And it's really good. Reese Witherspoon gets in a car crash, is in a coma, but like her, and then Mark Ruffalo over time like takes over her apartment. She kind of comes in as like a ghost, but she's not like dead. She's just like in this weird limbo between like, because she's in a coma.
She's in a Conjuring-esque.
She's like haunting his apartment, but
It's
like then
half Beetlejuice. This
you
is
go.
serious.
There you
it
go.
really is. It's really strange. But like Jared, God damn it, John Heder is like the one who like believes Mark Ruffalo because no one else can see her.
Right.
Only he can. So he's the only one that like believes Mark Ruffalo. Like,
Interesting.
yes, there is a woman here.
You're like a medium in that.
Kinda. I think they find him in like a bookstore
Yeah.
or something, and then he's like, "Yeah,
I can feel
man, I
her.
can do that."
I wonder if that was because of his Mormon upbringing that they cast him that like he would really be able to believe him, being like, oh, you hear
Maybe.
voices.
Yeah, the Holy Ghost.
It's true.
I know
you're telling
that.
me it's true.
Also, just like one more thing about John Heder, and then we could talk about the movie. But he has a identical twin.
That's
Did you
right.
fucking know
That's
that?
Right. Yeah, I forget. Did he ever do a movie or anything?
They did
Maybe?
one episode of
'Cause
Punked
we
where they
couldn't
punked
know.
John Heder and they had his brother like go hook up with a girl and he's married and they came back and like, hey, she's like a
Right.
sex worker and
Right.
the cops like just
What?
busted him and he's getting arrested and John Heder's like, he's married. That's my twin brother. There's no way
John
he
Heder
would
went
do
on
this
Punked?
or whatever. Yeah.
That's so.
I don't know if he went
funny.
on. He was just
Yeah, he
on.
was.
He got
Thrust
him.
upon.
Yeah, they got him. They went on him.
So funny.
So yes, that's how I knew.
But
he
no,
was a twin.
it just crazy because like like I think I read a BuzzFeed article that was like celebrities you didn't know have a twin. Like
Right.
Scarlett Johansson has a twin. Ashton Kutcher has a twin. So I'm just like I didn't know that.
I always love the lore of someone having a twin.
I
'cause
know.
It's like what is it? Terminator 2?
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton.
exactly.
They like do a really cool practical effect shot because they use the back of their twin's head. And it's
Fucking
So it's
crazy.
fun stories like
And
that.
it's like that's awesome. To be the other twin would be so awesome.
That's
'cause
why
you
the
would
Gosling
get
kids
all
need
of
to
the
get into
benefits.
movies so they can have like an 8 kid identical twin.
Gosling?
Yeah, like the John and Kate plus 8 kids.
Oh, that Gosling.
Oh,
I
I was
thought you
like,
meant
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling has
Gosling. I'm like,
twins?
Well,
what?
those kids should get into acting for a whole
Ryan
different reason.
Gosling, another guy that grew up in
I thought you were
Mormonism.
talking about the Cox
Ryan Gosling.
siblings.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Now we know.
He's got.
For very like he didn't,
tried
like,
it out and it
Follow
was-
no, like his family was
Really?
Mormon, at least like converted or something. I don't know. I don't know the whole history, but I do know that there is Mormon background in Ryan
He's
Gosling's
got.
life.
Yeah, he's got the blonde hair for it.
He sure does. Oh my
He
god.
would be a perfect Mormon.
It is
Yeah.
interesting that you bring up the Mormonism though,
You
because like
constantly.
No, but
I have brought it up a lot, but
no,
it,
but I
it
did
is
think
hand
this
in
was like
hand.
actually maybe a big part of John Heder's performance
Yeah.
in this because you said you're like it's shocking that he cusses
Yeah.
in this.
Like,
and I was
Mormons
wondering,
hated
were there other things that were written for him that like he wouldn't do necessarily? Because
probably.
Napoleon Dynamite is hilarious,
Yeah,
but it's
but
like
very clean.
just perfectly tuned to absurdism and so many, just outcasts, whatever. But here, I really felt like Farrell was like pulling so much of the weight
Yeah.
comedically, and I know that Heder was the straight man in a lot of these
Sure,
scenarios.
sure.
But they were both the straight man, if you will, too, being like, we're both uncomfortable with this situation, and I just felt like I saw the same face off of Heder where you went. Like 4 times in the film, and I was kind of like, does he have more in the toolbox here or something?
Yeah,
you know,
I don't
like was
know.
it the Mormonism or is it the performance?
I would bet it's
know?
just the people want to see Napoleon Dynamite in there somewhere.
Right.
I think that's probably
That's
what
the
it was.
Napoleon phrase. Like,
And then in terms of like the rest of his career trajectory, I would assume maybe that's because he's, I don't know, because
Go for Scoundrels is great if
it
nobody's
is
seen
really
that
good.
movie.
That
Monster
is
House.
and Monster
He's in
House,
Monster
he
House?
is in
Yeah,
that.
he's that guy, the gamer guy who like you have to let. He tells him how to beat the house. I
Yeah.
think
interesting.
Yeah, he had a good
good
career
07.
for a while.
he had a good OC.
But then he kind of like petered off a little bit. Maybe that's because he was like, because I feel like he is still Mormon. Like I thought he had stepped away from it because of it, but he was like, no, that was just my job. And I'm like, wow.
I mean, the success of like your first thing has got to be so hard to deal with too. You know, like
Right.
no wonder he's a one-hit wonder in that way, right?
Right,
Because
right.
like, how do you replicate any of that with the same pressure?
Well, I heard a rumor that he got like prestiged and his brother drowned, and
That
then
did
he
happen.
had to
Yeah,
take
yeah,
over and just take care of them. Of
You
course, I will.
have to be fooled.
Oh my God.
You've got to do Blades of Glory for me. They can't know it's not me. Okay, I'll do it. That's what happened.
Oh God. Okay, we can get into the movie now.
Yeah, I mean, Will Ferrell's at an interesting point too. Like we were just talking about it. He's got all these sports movies around. I mean, he's kind of in his last push of these comedies working.
Was he out of SNL at this point? Yeah,
yeah, for
right?
sure,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Was he even making the movies when he was on SNL? Or
Yeah, I mean, he had like
was
Night
like
of the Roxbury.
Zoolander.
Roxbury,
Was
like
Elf part of
the
that?
old school. Elf was right after he got off.
Right
of
after,
That was like
okay.
04.
Because Elf really was like
That was
what?
it.
I
he
mean,
was like
he's
96
still.
to like.
He probably makes so much money still off of Elf.
Are you
like
kidding me?
fucking.
They
holy
reference it in
shit.
Spirited, which I know you didn't watch, with
I
with
will,
Ryan Reynolds.
but I haven't.
Somebody's dressed like Buddy the Elf, and he
Cute,
talks to them.
adorable.
yeah, residuals on Christmas movies have to be just insane.
We got to write one.
know.
Come on, guys. We got to get
I
rich.
know. Like if you can make a good one, it's like that will keep you.
What
like
we need to do
you
is
don't have
make
to
a
do
like
anything
that
else.
like no one else makes. Like
Yeah,
like you know
that's the
like
tip.
Draft Day makes money every year when there's like a draft.
Yes.
Like, you just gotta find like a thing.
What's the Flag Day? Flag Day.
I feel
How can we
like-
get- I gotta get my flag to my grandmother. Like it's your funeral.
I feel like Gary Marshall tried to do that with like Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and New Year's
Oh,
Eve,
yeah.
but they were all just bad, so like it didn't work.
I know no one's ever gonna top the 30 Rock episode on leap year.
Leap year. It really matters. That might be my favorite episode. Of
Although
30
there
Rock.
is
I
a
think so.
movie called Leap Year, right, with Amy Adams.
Yeah. I'm
Leap
there
Year,
is.
Leap
Leap
Day.
Year. Right.
I don't know, but anyway, I didn't like it, but it exists.
Like all like the 10 like meals of this like Chinese food or whatever, or like Benihana's like, yeah, that'll be $200. You'll never be able to spend $10,000 here, Tracy Jordan. Like the best part of that episode, he got paid it for like Benihana's commercial in gift cards. Like
And he insisted on it. He's like, give it to me all night.
so good.
Anywho.
Yeah.
All the skating is really it really brings you in for, as we mentioned earlier, like who cares about ice skating? Like it's not that they all take it seriously in the world as if it's the most gigantic thing possible, but it is like it's like okay, I'm in, I'm watching this.
Oh yeah, and there's wide shots where you can definitely tell it's a body double.
Right.
But
I didn't believe Will Ferrell could actually do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Triple axle,
but there are like some of those closer shots where you're like they kind of skate up to the other guy or something, and you're like, hey, they're doing it.
Good for
like,
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, ice skating's not like super easy. Like you
no,
definitely
no.
really have to. I mean, I can do it.
I mean, this is tough to
but-
do. I think about like I, Tonya, like we were talking
Yeah.
about, and it's like the CGI effects on that were like really
You're like,
tough to pull off.
are they
even
doing
a couple
it?
years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Margot does not look like that. But they
She could never spin like that. No, I've seen her body.
Never.
after Jimmy, aka John Heater, has his like first skate, and then he finishes like a dove comes out, and the
Yes,
commentator's
yes.
like, "It's important to point out that dove was in his suit the entire time." That's like extra points, and like that's a part of like skating.
kept a
Sometimes
dove alive
people
this
have
whole
like,
time.
like live animal props and shit. Like, it's like, oh, what
Which
is
is like
this?
not
It
a
is-
part of it at
It
all.
is so good when Will Ferrell comes in and he's like, "There's a new sheriff in town," and then he just starts like ice licking, like So, oh my god.
Like, yeah, he's the oxymoron of like he's the bad boy of figure skating.
It worked on me though. I was like, even now, I was like, I've seen this, but I was just like, this shit's funny. Like, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
he's making a fool out of himself out there, which is what is the best about Farrell performances, is he leaves nothing on the table. And he commits harder than anyone else can. Like even all of his failed SNL sketches, that's always the beauty of it, is like even when the audience is not laughing halfway through and the whole sketch is dead, he just keeps pounding.
He's like, I think it's hilarious and I'm fucking my biggest fan, so I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Very much a clown in that way, like a traditional.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm gonna keep at this
just
until
gonna
until
commit.
it makes you laugh.
Yeah. The best.
I know, and the sex addict stuff. I wonder. I'm like, okay, when was the Tiger Woods stuff coming out? Like, because this
must
had
have
to
been
be a riff
right around that.
It was
Right.
after this, though.
After?
It was later.
I feel like it was later, too.
Well, there was
I
a
don't
bunch
know.
of like
But,
those
yeah.
stories, like
Right.
David Letterman, and they even did an episode on South Park, like that
Yeah.
Tiger Woods were like, oh, they're in the plane, and all these people like, yeah, I'm a sex addict, yeah, me too, yeah, I'm an addict, I'm a sex addict.
It's a real disease with doctors,
With doctors
and
and
stuff.
medicine and everything. It's a real disease. So I think you're right. Yeah, I think it was kind of a little bit of the like Tiger Woods parody, and they have Luke Wilson be the like leader of the Sex Addicts Anonymous group.
And then like everyone's just hooking up in the parking lot afterwards, and he's like, "Break it up, people."
great little yes and moment of like, and then what happened? Like make it sexual. Well, she was her stepsister, and then what? Come on, we've thrown you out of these meetings before, Chaz. He's got a great name too, Chaz.
Michael.
Oh my god!
It's like those billboards
better
that
than
are
Chaz.
around.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we should have gone with Chaz.
I know, but isn't there like a billboard around LA that's like this hairstylist named Chaz or something like that? And I'm
believe-
like,
Oh, yeah.
Chaz?
Chaz
No one
Michael
has that
Michaels.
name.
That's so awesome.
Who knows?
I think the judge later calls him Charles, so his real name is Charles Michael Michaels. Chaz.
Yeah, let's drop off half of that and add some Z's. Yeah, I do love the little sports documentary montage,
Like the little
Yeah.
30 for 30 type, yeah.
Right.
Like
So good.
growing up in the inner city of Detroit. Chaz Michael Michaels, the underground ice started underground ice skating. like he's this like rough and tumble like Motown. It's so good.
Well, and even with the John Heater character, like he's an orphan who's like
Right.
taken by like an
Hand-plucked,
eccentric
right?
billionaire.
Yeah.
Like so good.
Who's like Rocky Ford training them with all kinds of like steroids.
Yeah.
and
Which I
insane
think
shit.
is smart to be like, one of them came from privilege and one of them came from, the slums or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, but they still have their struggles regardless of where they are now. I don't know. It's a smart writing move to like make that.
Oh yeah,
happen.
I mean, diametrically opposed, right?
Right.
literally Fire and Ice. There's like as they show it in the movie. It's like,
Exactly.
wow, filmmakers, they saved the cat. The check was blank.
I just want in one script to call out, wow, he just saved the cat. I like him.
Hero. He had 1,000 faces. Holy shit.
What a monolith.
They Joseph. And immediately we get to meet fucking Amy Poehler and Will Arnett.
So
as
We're
the-
playing siblings when they're really married
They're
in
married,
real
yeah,
life.
at that
Yeah,
moment.
it's so funny.
Their marriage is a crazy one too, because like
I know.
it was before either of them were like really big.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Poehler shows up in like the first season of Arrested Development
Yes.
because of this
Well,
too, right? Or was that
She's in the
post?
show at some point.
Maybe not the second, first,
or
but,
second,
but,
second.
but yeah, later when they
She's
are
definitely
actually
on SNL
married.
Yeah,
during
in the
this,
first.
Oh, for
three,
sure,
like,
for sure.
you know,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's always so interesting to see them back together.
It
in that way.
is.
You're like, oh yeah.
And while we were talking about books that women wrote, Yes, Please is very good.
Love that.
And she does. I think she wrote it in the middle of them divorcing, because she kind of was like, "We're
Okay.
divorcing" at the very end.
Oh.
So it's very interesting. It's very interesting their relationship. I think they're still very close because I listened to Smartless.
Yeah.
And like he always says my ex Amy, and I'm like, everyone one knows who your fucking
Yeah,
ex
right.
is. Will Arnett. But anyway.
Doing it for the weirdos out there.
Yeah, because I'm so curious, like, about their relationship. Because, like, they seem so great together, but now that they're not together, I'm like, that makes sense. I don't know. Anyway.
I know. I think they just feed into, like, you could see how they would work as, like, an improv couple, right? Like, they're
both so
bits,
funny,
like,
but they're so
they could both
talented.
Be mean to each other, but, like, in a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
When they dance, like the person commenting, I can't remember exact words, but he's like, and now like an expiration of their urban culture like this, and they play Marky Mark's Good Vibrations. Like, as if, like that's urban. That's
because they don't win the whole thing. They're like, we did Marky Mark wrong. He's
gonna be pissed.
That's the journey of a young black person coming out. It's like, Marky Mark's Good Vibrations. So good.
I was gonna relate that sports documentary stuff to. Did you guys see it's a tennis mockumentary?
Yes. I started watching the other day. I fell asleep.
Andy Samberg.
You're talking about the exactly.
No, I don't know what this is.
No. It's
like 7 days in
7 Days in Hell.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kit
7
Harington.
Days in
Yeah,
Hell.
yeah. Why did I think Shia LaBeouf? Is Shia LaBeouf in another tennis movie? Or
I've
something?
He looks like he would be in that. He's kind of got
He's
that
in a tennis
puffy
movie,
hair.
but
This
no,
came
I know
out
what you're talking
recently?
about.
This came out recently?
Maybe like
Couple years ago.
Years
Well, I would
ago.
say like
There's like
four,
things-
4 or 5.
Okay.
This was pre-pandemic. It's like an
Pandemic ruined
HBO
me.
only movie.
Yep.
Okay.
Probably between Bash Brothers and Palm Spring, if you're going like Sandberg
I love Palm
filmography.
Springs. So good.
But it's just like there's something so palpable here in this genre still, like that you could totally do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I was just even thinking of like the first scene where they're ice skating. It's the solos, right? But then they're up on the stage and they've both won gold, right? And they're fighting over the podium, right? And they start fighting with each other, knock each other off, and then they light a mascot on fire. And it's just like, it's such a small thing.
Yeah.
But it's just, I was talking about it earlier, but that's the type of spectacle you just don't really get
You're right.
in these other movies
Yeah.
nowadays.
Versus like that kind of Jonah Hill like biting like, oh, let's have like a nice like
A fun back
me and
and
Seth
forth.
Rogen are gonna have a little
lot
tit
of
for tat
physical
moment.
comedy has been lost over the years,
For sure.
which I'm
So
so
much cheaper
sad
to do it
about.
the other way.
It is, but I'm also like, I mean, not that every single like movie with physical comedy, especially like ones that are like house party centered, I'm like, I don't give a shit about that. But like, but yeah, like there are a lot of moments that I feel like have kind of just like not become as important. Like, oh, let's make this a physical comedy thing. It's like, no, it has to be witty. It has to be like wordy.
Right.
Which is fine. There's great stuff, but like, I don't know. Like the things that make me laugh the most is like usually a physical thing. Like with Happy Gilmore, him like coming and like beating up the clown like golf course thing.
Yeah.
Like that kills me every time. It's like I or like fighting with Bob Barker. Like I don't know. I just want to see that shit way more. And it's like it's just not as much.
Exactly.
But it's physical because the characters, it's not funny to them. They're
Right.
they care
take it
so much.
so
Yes.
seriously.
They just lit the mascot on fire
Right,
like for the Olympics.
Like a lot of times, if you see physical comedy nowadays, it's like it kind of is like a wink to the audience. Like, don't fucking do that.
No,
Just make it serious.
But here they're having their cake and eating it too.
Exactly.
They're getting
That's what
the
we
fun
want.
clips in,
Yeah.
and like the heightening of like some physicality.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I would never thought I would say they don't make them anymore. They used
like
to
that
anymore.
anymore.
About
We're all
Mason
so
Murray,
old,
but-
right?
And so
Our late 20s.
95.
And I was even thinking, so like then they, of course the two skaters get banned from worldwide skating in singles, but so they all just go on and do their own things. But Will Ferrell's like working at an ice skating rink,
Might be my favorite part of the movie.
a dumb show on
Yeah.
ice, like playing the wizard.
Like his own, I love how he gets his own big ass
Yeah.
like green room.
Yeah.
And he's like still got
The wizard.
groupies.
Well, you know he demanded it,
Yeah.
right? He's like,
And he just
Chaz,
shows up
Chaz doesn't
drunk
play for
every
anything.
That's so
time.
awesome.
Oh my
And I never
God.
thought twice about that when I was little watching that. I was like,
It-
yeah, that's just a normal.
It kind of feels like the medieval times of like ice skating, doesn't it? Kind
Sure,
of
of
feel
course,
that
right,
way.
right. Yeah, like, oh yeah, I'm sleeping with these fairies.
Right,
I'm
like
doing this,
that's so
Yeah.
funny.
And yeah, he's got all this like these love triangles
Yeah.
and shit.
Which is just theater, baby. You know,
Right, like they're
That's
showing
how it
behind the
is.
scene, the fun. Yeah. That's really good.
I was thinking of that shot though. They shoot him from inside the mask. You know,
They did it before Iron Man.
that's what I was gonna say. Was like, I
Okay,
feel like
give
Jon
credit where
Favreau was
credit's
sitting there in
due.
2008
Yeah.
making
I
his
like that.
movie, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Wait a minute, I
That's a
need,
good
need
shot.
to
He's
do
like,
something."
wait, I know Will Ferrell. I've worked with him before on Elf. Let's make it Iron Man.
This guy's a maestro.
Let's make it.
Steal like an artist.
Let's put Elon in this.
He knew then when he was
he knew.
watching Blades of Glory.
He
He's
knew.
like, Elon Musk is going to be in my sequel.
He's like, he's gonna be a huge asshole. Let me put him in my movie.
Rob Corddry is like his boss at the little place, and
So
he's
good.
like funny little bit part, and like I would fire you if you weren't so damn good. Like he's just such a good ice skater for this children's show. That like, God, he's just so talented. I have to put up with him. Like, conceptually,
I wanted to bring up
Yes.
the like Jason. Is it not? No, not
Nick Swardson.
Nick Swardson. Thank you. I was going for Jason
Oh,
Schwartzman.
yeah.
Which is just wrong. I knew it was
one?
wrong.
I saw him last night. Sorry.
Ooh,
Where?
Nick Swardson. I went to my friend's comedy show at the fucking Improv,
Okay.
and they were in the smaller room. And my friend Dana and I went to go look at the bigger room, and this waiter was like, "Do you guys want to get in?" I was like, "Really?" And so she like sat us, and so we just watched like 10 minutes of his set.
Yeah.
How was it?
He was pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, he's great. He was talking about like balls and stuff.
Of course.
I feel like I just walked in the like perfect timing in the middle. But he's like, "Yeah, you can tell like how old someone is by their balls. Like how you can tell like
How
you
far
can tell
they
how old
dropped.
a tree is by the rings around it or whatever."
That's
and I was
very
like,
funny.
"Okay."
It's a good bit, but I thought everyone had wrinkly balls
Oh my
from
God.
like age 12.
Yeah, balls
Not a
don't look
single
good.
wrinkle.
Let's just get that out of the way.
balls are
Sorry, I
tight.
just had to say that.
I loved it.
Well, Terry in Reno 911 is probably my favorite like character,
Of
but
it, yeah.
so fucking funny. Anyway, continue.
This isn't at his best. This is like the kind of stuff he should
Yeah.
be doing.
Right,
I think
exactly.
Swardson works.
And like this movie is really interesting because it's like a prototype of the stuff he does in like a lot of the Adam Sandler movies.
right.
That is like just like not as good. Like it's just kind of, oh, let's make him play another fanatic, but like
Right,
it doesn't
right,
have
right.
a grounding. And like
Right.
he's like
It's-
an
he
internet
turned
nerd
into
in this
the-
one. I mean, he
Right,
says
right.
like at the beginning, he's like, let me get a post for my blog. Like that's where internet culture was at this point.
2007. Okay, I know where we were.
my blog.
But then like what he comes back and he's trying to get John Heater back.
Yeah, he's the one who figures out he's the one who's been studying for years. Of
course.
He's like, but Johnny was like, but all my lawyers, we had the most expensive stuff, and it's like even he's more obsessed than they possibly could be.
But it's interesting, like they were tapping into a type of fandom on the internet that is like absolutely a way bigger thing now. You know,
Right,
Like,
right, right.
These
But
were like
even then-
these were like restore the Snyder Cut type guys, right? Like he's like restore my favorite figure skater back into this shit.
The Rob Schneider cut? Is that what
Yeah,
it
the
is?
Rob
Oh,
Schneider
okay,
cut.
okay.
Yeah.
Schneider cut.
Which movie needs a Schneider cut in it?
Batman versus Superman. The Schneider cut. That's what we want.
Let's go for a third version. Maybe it'll work this time.
We'll do a third version, and it'll be racially insensitive because that's all that Rob Schneider does.
Get it back in Grown Ups, and he'll be fine.
Have you seen Surf Ninjas?
Yes. Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
that's his best
Oh
role.
my God.
And I mean that as a compliment. He's really funny in that movie.
That movie. Yeah. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh my god,
nuts.
You guys should do a movie roast on it.
Love it.
Okay.
Sorry.
We will.
We got to do. We got to get
I
Game
watched the
Boys.
first
We
half
got
hour with
Yep.
them.
Game Gears.
I just really fucking hate Rob Schneider. I really don't like him.
What's
So
it-
I don't know
what's
if
his
I would
worst film
enjoy
then?
it. Shit. Grown Ups. Just because Grown Ups sucks. But
I now pronounce you Chuck and
but
Larry.
he's like I now
Also 07?
Nope, that's true. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. He is horrendous. He's like played every race ever, and
Yeah.
it's the worst. Like he's not good.
He's Polynesian and
Polynesian,
51st Day.
Asian. It's like, oh, it's
Is
so
it
bad.
possible to cancel one man and have him be canceled for all of our sins?
Wow.
he's our
never
original, like
thought of
Whippy
that.
Boy or The Giver. Like Rob Schneider takes
Jesus
all
was
of
the first person to be canceled. Wow.
Schneider's
Yeah.
the second coming.
That's amazing.
He's already here.
We have to cancel him,
yeah.
and that's when the apocalypse will be brought about.
Just wait for the rebirth.
Or Grown Ups 3.
Resurrection.
Actually, I
Grown
think they did
sucks.
make one.
Don't tell me otherwise.
Did they make Grown Ups 3?
No.
Okay, good.
Please
They
don't.
did make 2.
Please
Wait,
don't.
it hasn't happened yet. What year is it?
Adam,
Grown Up
do
3.
not.
There's still time. There's still time.
There's still time to stop it.
I have to kill him. 12
If it
monkeys, 12
happens, you know we
monkeys.
failed. If it doesn't, we succeeded.
I can't let my son see this.
Okay, so how did these 2 guys get into jail? I forgot. There's a scene in jail, right?
They fight.
Yeah, I think they fight in the.
Yeah.
So John Heater comes to present this opportunity. I think maybe that Nick Swartzen brought to him, and Will Ferrell's like,
Yes.
"I'm not going to do that. What are you, stupid?" And then they
Right.
get into a huge fight.
After Will Ferrell's been kicked out
Right,
of
at
his
the Wizard
show.
place.
He tries to get others.
Because he was super drunk, too.
He doesn't know Will Ferrell's there. He just knows
That's
people
right. He was
skate
coming to get
there.
other
He's like, if
skaters.
any
That's
skater's
right.
interested,
Runs into
and
it,
they
and
run.
then
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
And then on the recording security footage when
Pause.
Craig Nelson is like, they're doing like skating moves, like as they're fighting.
That is the funniest thing. Like he's like he rolls it back and plays it like scene by scene, and he's like, they'd be perfect partners.
No,
Oh my
he
God.
like jumps in like full on, like sticks his arm out there as he's like lifting him like into the boxes, like. But that's how they would fight normally. It's like,
so good.
spinning him around.
Like, it's been a minute since I've seen Blades of Glory, but I completely forgot Craig T. Nelson is in this.
He
as the
can't stop
coach.
playing
He can
coaches.
only be a coach
Nope.
or an Incredible. That's it.
I like how he had a full head of hair, and then 3.5 years later, he
so
starts to
good.
bald.
They show he was younger.
But he's
earlier.
already like
Right.
somewhere in his 40s, 50s. And I was,
What the
hard
fuck
time.
happened? to
yeah,
this
but the
guy?
other 2 look the same. Or John Heater.
I got you a gold medal. And they fires him because like they died. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I love when they're in prison and like they have that whole scene and then it just ends and then there's a guy who's been taking a dump in a toilet. Like it's a big holding cell with like 20 guys.
Yes.
Right.
And he goes to like for the toilet paper and there's nothing there and he goes, any help? like that's
Like a little joke in the background, like
It
this
just
thing
cuts.
is going on, this is happening. Like it's just adding little realism to this
it's
fun
so
like
good.
jail.
It's so good. It's just like all like both of these films are just jam packed. Like truly, the jokes per minute are really impressive.
Yeah, I was surprised with it because I watched it yesterday. And I mean, I've seen it a bunch, but felt the same way. I was like, oh wow, there's like a lot of. I was trying to write notes. I'm like, oh no, there's too many funny things to
Well, like,
mention.
and like everything is so heightened. Like they go after this, they go to like sign up, right? For it's sign ups for figure skating, and there are 40 press members there.
So many.
Like they're
it's like-
literally going to
that
write their
shouldn't-
name
just
down on a piece of
Who's
paper.
gonna be in the competition?
Like there should be like if like don't athletes have like managers or something to do
I
that
don't
for
think you have to
them?
show
Like
up
why
in
is
press
that?
releases
I guess
and, like-
maybe they just don't have managers, but it's still like it's like what? Like there should be a different way than just writing your name down.
It's so good because Will and Amy are stealing the
Yeah, yeah,
spotlight
yeah.
at the beginning, and then they walk over, and the coach is like, "That's right, I'm signing up." And he turns around, and he's like,
of-
two
yeah.
men."
Chaz Michaels and Jimmy McElroy.
And
And
everyone
everyone's like, oh! Like, that's your front page news. Like, got it for you. And then it cuts to Will Arnett and Amy Poehler at their home. We're like, oh no, like, what are we going to do about this? And Amy Poehler's like, why? What's his name? Why, Strands? Why has God singled us out for the greatest suffering man has ever known? Like, it doesn't get more heightened than that. Like, why this is happening? The greatest suffering.
No, their whole gambit's so good. Like taking Jenna Fisher's character, and they're like, "Oh, you're the reason our parents
Yeah,
trashed their
yeah,
car."
Taking you to ice skating.
So
nights.
funny.
What's that, Daddy? You're still crying in heaven?
Because you're
Because you're
dead.
dead? That's right. Like, how can we manipulate our sister into doing this? And just saying, yeah. Oh, remember when I wish Mom and Dad were still alive.
All the skating is really good. The practice stuff in the warehouse is so funny. Like they just
That's where he says
they're like an
ass.
ice packing rink
Oh.
or something. What'd you say?
That's where he says ass.
I didn't know.
Is that the one spot he says ass? You just call him an ass.
Let's do ASMR the rest of this.
Yeah, I feel like
Ass.
ass.
I think that he says ass in this scene because I remember watching it being like, oh my god, it's the guy who does Napoleon Dynamite, and then I'm like, he said ass, and then I was like, I've lost all respect for him.
Yeah. honestly, me too.
Thank you. Thank you for
When they are
solidarity.
training and Will Ferrell's jogging on like the treadmill, and he's like, "We're gonna skate to one song and one song only." My Humps by the Black Eyed Peas.
It's insane that it is such a funny moment, and then you watch it and you can only think about the Kanye song the entire time. Like you were just like,
It's been ruined.
It's
now.
ingrained. Even the part where he's like, "It's provocative."
It's right.
I
It gets
love
the
this
people
one, yeah,
going.
when he starts that song.
Yep.
Oh my god! But that's because that part is so funny. Kanye's ruined it, but it was so good. That gets provocative.
gets the people going.
Like you can say about anything. It's so good. Like no one knows what it means. It's provocative.
I'm looking through my notes. The line about
same.
they laughed at Louis Armstrong when he tried to go to the moon. And now he's up there laughing at us.
That felt like a Michael Scott line almost.
Absolutely.
Like, this guy, he thinks he's being real, like philosophical or whatever, but he fucking mixing and mingling.
No, and that's happening in like the scene where they're first kind of skating together still, and like they have their crotches in each other's faces, and they like show the reaction shot of them being like, "Oh, this is gross." And it's like, to me, that was like one of the still. The way that plays out, I was just like, this is not hateful.
Yeah.
Like it's still they're uncomfortable because they're not like cool with their
I
sexuality.
mean, no one likes crotches in your face.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Person you don't like, you don't want.
Yeah.
This person's crotch.
Yeah. unless
less
you're
about the
having sex.
sexuality. more about
like,
the
oh no,
person.
this is
No, they're just like,
inappropriate.
ugh.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then they full on lean into it, like especially in that when they get
So
ready and they go, okay, we're gonna do this. It's like, oh, it's fun to see that. Yeah, they're not making fun of that two men are skating. It's, They're making fun of like, what if two men like really cared and they really fucking like went for it and like blew everyone away. And like, okay, that's so much of a better joke than just like, wouldn't that be dumb?
Definitely.
Watching two guys fall around or whatever.
Another bit I really loved was Will Ferrell like taking his shirt off, like he's just come out of the shower and he's got like 3 tattoos on his body, and he turns around and he's like, "Oh wow!" like John Heater. And he's like, "They call me the illustrated man."
Exactly. There's only like 3. They're not that big.
Oh my god.
It's like each one of these has got a story, and then he only tells a story of 2. Like, he's like, "I won't tell you about that one."
He's the lone wolf.
Oh, that means nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing.
That's the little pup.
God.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, I saw you staring at my ink. Like, exactly. No one. He's the only other person in the room.
Yeah, I think after that you get the snuff film, which is absolutely bonkers. So the whole bit is that the coach was trying to do the Iron Lotus, which the figure skating move. And it's so dangerous they wouldn't let him do it anywhere. So he goes to North Korea.
Right.
He's like, "I'll train you a doubles team." And then like Kim Jong-il.
Yeah, they're all
is in
watching
this.
this giant like military like parade. That it was a huge deal.
But they've rolled on like the tube top like big TVs and like VCR, like the style you would have in like homeroom or something.
Right. Like, okay, it's like substitute teacher day. Like we're bringing the TV in. But like, oh, this is what we've got to. This is what got him banned. Like, that's them taking the skating. They're not making fun of it. It's like we're taking it even more seriously. Like, yeah, what if there were a skating move so dangerous it killed the people who tried to do it? It's like, yeah, that's what's funny is we're gonna try to do that. We gotta learn. Gotta figure that out. When they end, they're like. They have a big triumphant moment of like, oh wow, it really works. He's like, thank you, Denver. Yeah. City by the Bay. It's the most genuine, like, same thing. It's like, he's just stupid, but it's like,
no idea where he is.
Yes. Thank you, Denver. City by the Bay. Oh my God. Just like little moments. Like, okay, we can't call out that he's an idiot in this moment, but just let it sit.
I love the bit where Jenna Fisher's character is on the phone, like trying to like set this date, and then they're having phone sex, but neither of the people on the phone are the ones talking.
Ooh, tell him this.
It's like Amy and Will are just like, oh, he's nasty,
Like,
oh, she's dirty.
Like, yeah, tell her this. And we have to have the awkward, as you were saying. I thought it would be more that moment would be the inappropriate part of like, oh, they're making John Heater this like little golden boy say these awful things like that.
Right.
I mean, and he is still a golden boy. It's just the fact that he says ass. Let me just be clear. Doesn't matter. He's a golden boy, but in private, he says ass. Even that's enough for me.
If he was talking to a donkey, that would not be cool.
No. Well, in the biblical sense, yes.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
You can get away with some things. Yeah.
But not in the non-biblical sense.
When they meet up, Jimmy and Katie, like Jenna Fisher's character, like after this conversation, when they meet up and she says, I didn't have a 9th birthday party because my sister told my friends I was in jail for armed robbery.
And then doesn't he kiss her after that too? And she's like,
that's where Kim go like, oh wow, I didn't have a birthday party.
I didn't think that was a romantic story.
But just that, like, she's 9 years old and that they would believe that she would be in jail.
Oh my God.
For armed robbery. Just like these little like jokes that like, yep, force that in, and then we're moving on.
Or even like, yeah, they just walk up for some snow cones and he's like, I'll take another blue. There's, I was just gonna say,
it's a good note.
Once, there's the figure skating qualifications that they're trying to, I think that's Fire and Ice, right?
Yeah.
That scene. But both, Amy and Will take one of the two guys and they're like, okay, we gotta like, take him out of the equation.
Yep.
Amy goes behind a Canadian police officer and like steals his handcuffs. and then walks over to Chaz.
Like no problem.
Or not Chaz, yeah, but locks him in the bathroom stall. It's just all
Jimmy,
Jimmy, but it's all just unreal.
Well, Canadian police officers are just like, they don't give a shit,
No,
Yeah.
they don't have guns,
This was
right?
America. This wouldn't work.
They're just like, oh, hey, come on.
Aw.
I'll take those.
Well, I'm sorry for making that hard to
Give an
get.
extra pair of cuffs on you. I think I dropped mine.
And she like throws the key in the trash rather than just like taking it with her. It's like, ha ha ha. So then the trash like falls and Jimmy has to like eat all of the trash in order to get to the like key.
The toilet paper is falling
and
in a way.
Such a little like funny joke of like, oh, we get the trope of like, oh no, he's gonna be late because
Right,
you're like Cinderella's stepmother. Oh, I'm locking the door. You're not gonna get there. But just instead he has to get out. Just like you know what? That'd be fun to see John Hader have to like.
No, in
Like
the
this
in the
fucking-
chase that Will Ferrell and Will Arnett go on is unreal. Because it starts with ice skating and it's
like,
taken
yeah.
seriously,
Intense.
and then they're running through traffic on their skates,
so slow.
not to fall.
And they both like have back and forth of like, oh, who's more dangerous because like Will Arnett grabs a woman and Will Ferrell has a ski. Don't make me kill him. He would be willing to just kill this woman in order to kill him. And he's the hero. He's running for the protagonist. Don't make me kill her.
He's holding a ski, one ski, and he's saying, "Don't make me kill her."
Like, I'll do it.
He's gonna drive it straight through her.
Don't make me kill her. And then immediately after that moment, Will Arnett shoots a bow and arrow.
Yes,
and
the crossbow.
What is his name?
It's like
he goes,
snowy.
Yeah, he goes, no, snowflake. But he like does it in a real, like he just killed his brother. He's like, snowflake, no. like what the fuck have you done? That snowflake. Like,
Oh my God.
And it's so good too because that's what does them in at the end.
Right,
Like
like
the
he
cops are like, "You shot Snowflake."
He's a hero here. But you assume, at least for like those like 2 seconds, like he shoots him, he falls down, he's like, no, snowflake, and they like pause for a second. It's like, and then they start running, so you assume like this guy's just dead. He just like killed somebody with a crossbow, and then they're like right back to it, like back to the chase. Obviously we find out later he's alive, but just like the absurdity of that
so
moment.
good.
I'll kill her. Don't make me kill her. It's like they've taken. This is supposed to be about ice skating, and now these people are like willing to murder each other over getting to the competition. Don't make me kill her.
And like gold is a lock for either of them too. Like in the scenario that they've set up here, they're like whatever happened, it's like second and third place are disqualified.
Like we're automatically going to win as long as we get those two.
Just
out
gotta
of it.
beat those guys.
Between these two people. God, that might be the best line of the "Don't make me."
I think
kill
"Don't
her."
Make Me Kill Her" is insane.
Don't make me kill her.
Every movie should have that moment somewhere.
The bad guy grabs somebody and Bert's like, I'll shoot through them. Like, don't make me fucking kill them.
Yeah, and then when Will Ferrell goes and he's like at the top of the arena, right? And he's got to like get down to the ice in 10 seconds. And he just like hangs on like a wire and like starts sliding
just, like,
down.
falls around, right? Like very
But,
like rush hour.
His skates are like so close to audiences' heads. like every person is like, oh shit, I don't want to die.
Yeah. And then they take it seriously. I'm like, okay, he like lands. And they're like, all right, like that would be allowed. He would be allowed to go on.
Well,
like,
then he changes in half a second, right? Like 2.
oh, how did you do that? They end skate. They skate to Flash Gordon, and
sweet.
I'm like,
Yeah, that start of that too.
Like,
Yeah. No, and the Iron Lotus move like looks
It does
really
look
good.
It actually looks like a cool.
it's actually,
technique.
if only somebody was
Actually.
strong enough to just violently throw.
Right.
Oh,
And the swap because like it's originally going to be the other way around.
Because he breaks his
and then-
ankle because Will Arnett and Amy
Throw a
Poehler are
pearl.
doing like a JFK and Marilyn Monroe, and she just has a pill bottle and she's just like throwing pills like into her mouth. That's like part of the skate, and then she's like Heimlich maneuvering and has the whole. But yeah, exactly. Then she
Once again, props.
Props.
They make
I
it
don't
bigger.
think I've seen a single ice skating thing with a prop.
No, exactly. That's the fun.
So
Like,
funny.
don't
Right.
forget that bird was in his suit the entire
And
time.
isn't it like when they do the Iron Lotus, it just like cuts off
almost-
very
Yeah, it does.
One hair.
small part of of a hair on his
Chins
his
of
chin.
his chinny chin. Hairs of his
Because
chin.
I love the sequence when they're like practicing it and it's just like completely cutting off.
like cuts
the
every
head.
head off.
Every time, which I don't
There's-
think a ice skate could do.
There's 30
but I
heads around
love
him.
it.
Right.
Yeah,
Literally
yeah,
on
yeah.
the floor.
Every time.
Yeah.
And at one time.
I'm really close.
I'm getting it. I'm almost there.
It's pretty damn good, and like I think it maybe has one of the best endings of like any comedy, which is just they're like, okay, let's get out of
Like
here,
we did.
and they fly into the sky.
Fly away.
They
Like,
fly into the sky, into the atmosphere, and then they turn into a constellation.
Yeah.
like they became like fucking legends.
mean,
They literally.
This is if Grease can do it,
Right.
Hell yeah.
so can they.
That is like a
you
wink
know?
to like sketches. Like, oh, sketches are the hardest thing to end because like, oh, we don't want the fun to end,
Right.
or if anything justifies away the fun earlier of like, oh, well, now this person's doing instead. They're like, well, what should we
Yeah.
do? Like, let's just fly away into
No, but
the sky.
it's part of the internal logic of like these comedies, like both of these, that like they take their own world seriously enough, but they also know like we're playing by a whole different rule book.
Right. Like,
Right.
we don't
No one
need
needs an ending where
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
he went home and retired and whatever.
just
ever.
like the movie. Right? Or
Well, the one thing I forgot at the end of Dewey Cox is a subtitle comes up after he finishes the final song, and it says Dewey Cox died 3 minutes after this performance.
So it's like we literally got everything of his life. There was nothing that we needed to summarize of like he married Margaret and they had children.
no explanation. You just died.
right after this. Like, yep, we got it all. We got it all. He's saying his most triumphant moment that summarizes his life and then immediately died. I agree. I love that they just made that choice because it's so like we've earned the right to get to like the absurdist part. It's like an Anchorman when it's like, wait, we're gonna have like a battle royale in the middle of this thing,
Right.
and oh wait, people have like grenades and all this shit. Like what? How did we get here? We're like, okay, I'm in. We believe it, and these characters are not laughing about it. They're like, all right, yes, a classic.
Oh my god.
Yes, let's fly away. Like they both knew. Like, yep. Like we're done here.
We'll just ascend
The
into
stadium
heaven.
opens up as if everyone would be like, "What the fuck?" They just flew away.
We'll just translate into heaven because we've done it. We're perfect.
That's how every movie should end. Like,
I agree.
let's leave.
But I mean, that's a testament. You have to end at like when it's the height, you know, like just get out of there and be
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
It's like the wrestler when the Randy the Ram's coming down and then fade to black. You don't know.
True.
Any other
Looking, let's
last
see.
thoughts? I pretty much think I have everything I need.
Love the runtime. Hour and 38 or something.
90 minutes, both of
Perfect.
these. Both of these.
Dewey Cox was 2 hours.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was.
I love that
Yeah.
shit.
I love you, but
Wait,
Maybe the
90 something.
director.
No.
Walk Hard was 2 hours.
I watched one that was 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Did
That
I
was
watch the
probably
director's
Walk
cut?
Hard.
Yeah.
I did.
But at the same
Really?
time,
It's
like,
usually an hour and a
Well,
half?
what did we not see in the director's cut?
oh
Grant?
shit, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
He wasn't the director, Lewis.
Last night was the director's cut, and that was 2 hours.
Okay.
So I think it's got to be that one.
But that one makes a little more sense because since it's parodying a biopic that's probably
long,
that
like-
long,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
they could probably do way more things with it. Yeah.
I can't remember specifically.
Do you
but I
remember? Maybe
one.
John C. Reilly's butt was only in the unrated version. Did you see it in your version?
well, actually, I don't know if I saw his butt.
I
definitely saw the dick. Like,
Someone,
there's
like-
2 scenes with the full frontal because they do the montage at the end. And,
Right,
and
to
they bring
call
it back.
right? Like, all the parts of this movie, we're gonna remember when he's on the phone. Like, don't forget.
Oh my god. I don't know. Maybe.
All right, yeah. Well, where can people find you guys? Social media.
Okay.
projects.
So, it's nice of you to bring up Moving to LA podcast. You still can listen to it. We have not continued it for over a year and a half, but that's okay. But if you are moving to LA, it could be helpful. Most of it is like, oh shit, we're in a pandemic suddenly. So it probably wouldn't be.
I listened to it before I came out here.
Aw,
Like,
that's sweet. Did it help?
I thought so. I mean,
That's good.
I was just stressed in general, so I was just like, I just need to hear like someone else in my
exactly.
shoes,
Like
you
at
know,
the very least, we're still figuring shit out, and we've been
course.
here for almost 3 years, but it doesn't feel that way because of the pandemic. But don't expect new episodes because we are doing that. But you can go to, for me at least, Jessica Sproge, JESSICA SPROGE on Instagram, and Jessica_Sproge, at least for the time being. We'll see if Elon runs the shit into the ground on Twitter. And if you're in LA for any reason, living here or visiting, we do improv all the fucking time. So if you follow us on, on either of our Instagram and Twitter, which Andrew will give you, you'll know when we're doing shit. So
Yeah, follow me at Andrew Sproge on Instagram. I'll let you figure out how to spell it since she already did. At the Dog Mayor on TikTok, and like Jessica said, just if you're in here in LA, follow our social media, and you'll know when we perform.
And you did mention from Film Roast, we did like a little hiatus. I know I'm drunk. A little hiatus. We did a little hiatus from like April to now, but we just barely did like Love Actually in Los Angeles a few days ago. We're going to be doing Twilight on January 19th.
Nice.
We're going to have Will Hines and Jim Woods on there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We might have
Perfect
one
for a
other
teen
guest.
fantasy
Amazing.
drama.
Will did confirm that he's never seen it. So that'll be fun. So if you want to see a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type show, just follow from Film Roast and any of the platforms, I guess. But yeah, January 19th at the Broadwater on Santa Monica.
Awesome. Brandt?
Instagram, Brandt.Garber. I do stand-up sometimes and improv sometimes. Message me, hire me. I'll let you know where I'm at.
He does Pokemon Go commercials.
Protesting.
Yeah, I protest Pokemon.
Yeah.
He does Pokemon.
You're one of those George Soros paid Pokemon Go protesters.
Yeah.
They're not real.
I don't think we record earlier. We talked about the. Were you there?
Oh, I was on. Yeah, I know.
Oh, you were here. Okay.
I
I don't know
remember
if
all
you-
that.
okay.
It was just not. It's not on mic.
Yeah,
No, I know.
Yeah. It's not. No
referencing
one's
something.
gonna get it.
I don't play
but-
Pokemon Go, but I protest against new Pokemon. I have to be there.
Yeah. All
Where
right.
can you find you?
Me? Oh, yeah. You can follow us at CinemaSpan on Twitter, Instagram, all the usuals. You can listen to this podcast wherever you're listening to it right now. And I am Louis Hilligus IV. That is just my Instagram handle, just like that. Thanks for listening, everybody.
You're welcome.
How do you sign off?
I don't know.
Okay, let's figure it out.
Well, no, the easy answer is we all needed to fly
Yeah, we
away.
all
That's the end of this podcast. Let's all put our hands together.
Okay,
Okay,
everybody.
we're pretending to grab each other's hands. Okay, now we are.
Beautiful.
We did it.
Amazing. So good.
God, those movies
That's
are so
fun.
great.
I'll
too.
kill her.